Hi guys, welcome to the video series on Karnataka specific issues relating to environment and ecology. So this is the part of study online initiative of Namma KPSC Academy. We are studying about India State of Forest Report 2019. So today let us study about certain general facts regarding Karnataka. So first of all, let us study about certain facts which are related to general knowledge of Karnataka. So the highest peak of Karnataka is Mullayanagiri. So Mullayanagiri is located in Chandradrona hill ranges of the western Ghats of Chikmagalur Taluk. Continuing, Karnataka has sandalwood as state tree. It is called Shrigandha in Kannada. Next is state bird. It is Indian ruler. It is called Neelakanta Pakshi in Kannada. And Asian elephant is the state animal. So the sacred lotus, it is the state flower of Karnataka. The mythical bird Gandaberunda is the state emblem of Karnataka. Now let us study about biodiversity of Karnataka. Karnataka is home to a larger variety of flora and fauna. Karnataka contains largest number of elephants in India with 6049 in number, and it is home to second largest number of tigers in India with 524 in number. So, regarding forest area of Karnataka, we have already completed discussions in the previous videos. So now let us continue and study about national parks of Karnataka. So what we shall do in the video is give the brief idea about national parks of Karnataka. You guys can collect more information regarding flora and fauna of these national parks according to your convenience. Let us continue. So Karnataka has 5 national parks. First of all, Anshi National Park. So this park is present in Uttara Kannada district and spreads over an area of 250 square kilometer. The altitude varies between 27 meters to 937 meters and temperatures from 15.5 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. Average annual rainfall in this area is 4700 millimeters. So the next national park is Bandipur National Park. It is situated within Chamrajnagar district covering an area of 800 square kilometer and adjoins the area of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. In 1973, Bandipur became one of the first of India's tiger reserves and became the part of Project Tiger. It was once a private hunting reserve for Maharaja of Kingdom of Mysore. In 1974, intention was declared under Wildlife Protection Act to notify it as National Park. So the next area is Bannerghatta National Park. So it is located in Bengaluru district and covers an area of 115 square kilometer. Altitude varies from 740 meters to 1034 meters. Temperature from 20 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius, and the average annual rainfall being 700 millimeters. So this area has dry deciduous forests and thorny scrub forests. Next is Kudremukha National Park. It is spread over an area of 600 square kilometer and it encompasses regions of the districts of Dakshin Kannada, Udupi and Chikmagalur. So this park has a pleasant climate with temperatures ranging from 17 degree to 28 degrees Celsius and annual rainfall between 1778 millimeters to 6350 millimeters with an average of 4000 millimeters. The rivers Netravati, Tunga, Bhadra are believed to originate here at Gangamula. The last national park of Karnataka is Nagarhole National Park. It is also called as Rajiv Gandhi National Park. It gets its name from the river Nagarhole, which runs eastwards through the center of this national park. So Nagarhole river flows through the park before it joins river Kabini that also acts as boundary between Nagarhole and Bandipur. So this park covers an area of 575 square kilometer. The Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary of Kerala adjoins to the southeast. So the landscape is one of the gentle slopes and shallow valleys. So in this national park we find dry deciduous forest where trees are usually leafless in summer rather than in winter. There are grassy swamps where the soil is clayey, perennially moist, and which support a luxuriant growth of green grass all the year. So we have given information regarding the national parks of Karnataka. For more information, you can study the necessary requirements in the environment section of your general studies. So in the similar line of discussion, you can study about wildlife sanctuaries of Karnataka. So even in wildlife sanctuary, you have to collect some basic data about the sanctuary and flora and fauna in these sanctuaries. Here we have given list of wildlife sanctuaries of Karnataka. You can collect information about them accordingly. In the similar lines, you can study about bird sanctuaries of Karnataka as well. Now, let us continue the discussion with biodiversity heritage sites of Karnataka. So, what are biodiversity heritage sites? So, they are well defined areas that are unique, ecologically fragile ecosystems. It may be terrestrial, coastal, inland waters, or even marine ecosystems. They must have one of the following components. The first biodiversity heritage site of Karnataka is Nallur Tamarind Grove. So it is one of the oldest tamarind trees at Nallur. So this biodiversity heritage site is spread over 54 acres, an area that once was part of Chola dynasty 800 years ago. As the name suggests, the area has some of the oldest tamarind trees, the recorded age of oldest one being more than 410 years, and still they bear fruit. So the next biodiversity heritage site is University of Agricultural Sciences GKVK campus, Bangalore. So 13 species of mammals, 10 species of reptiles, 165 species of birds, and an impressive 530 species of plants call University of Agricultural Sciences GKVK campus in Bangalore as their home. The campus earned its title because of the biological diversity it represents. So the next site is Hogre in Chikmagalur. So the Shola vegetation of Hogre is home to number of unique medicinal plants. In addition, we have Ambargudda in Shivamogga. So it is a primitive Shola vegetation with plant species that have stood the test of time. So this portion of Western Ghats has precious reserves of unique and endemic species which helped earn the status of biodiversity heritage site. So Ambargudda is located between Sharavati Wildlife Sanctuary and Someshwara Wildlife Sanctuary. Now let us study about geo-heritage sites of Karnataka. So Geological Survey of India declares geo-heritage sites which are national geological monuments for protection and maintenance. So Geological Survey of India or the respective state governments take necessary measures to protect these sites. So after declaring as a monument, it becomes the government property which cannot be used for any other purpose other than study. So stealing of rocks or trespassing in the area attracts punishment. So first geoheritage site of Karnataka is columnar lava at St. Mary's Island. So St. Mary's Island is part of small four islands in Arabian Sea off the coast of Malpe in Udupi district of Karnataka. So they are known for their distinctive geological formation of columnar basaltic lava. So this formation is a result of subaerial subvolcanic activity of Madagascar rift which took place around 88 million years ago. So the columnar basaltic lava found in these islands, which is very well developed in the basalts of Deccan Traps, exhibit an imposing range of hexagonal shaped or multi-phased columns split into horizontal mosaic. In geological terms, these are called as columnar joints. The next site is Pillow Lavas near Maradihalli, Chitradurga district. So the stone formation which is found here is nearly 2600 million years old. So the formation of pillow lava rock was result of sudden chilling of molten magma. So the stone, which is also called as volcanic rock, takes the shape of a round pillow when the red hot lava comes into direct contact with cold water. So the availability of pillow lava here clearly indicates that this range was either submerged in a river or an ocean 2600 million years ago. Since the rocky structure was best preserved here, it was an ideal place for geologists to learn more about the formation of such rare rocks. Next is Peninsular Gneiss in Lalbagh, Bangalore. Peninsular gneiss is term coined to highlight the old gneissic complex of metamorphics found all over the Indian peninsula. So this term was first fashioned by W.F. Smith of the Mysore Geological Department in 1916 based on the first scientific study of the rock exposure. So the Geological Survey of India identified one of the best exposures of this rock mass protruding high above ground as an hillock dated 2.5 to 3.5 billion years in Bangalore city at famous Lal Bagh Gardens and declared it as National Geological Monument to propagate the knowledge of rock formation among the public. So it is famously called as Lal Bagh Rock. So guys, in addition to the above information, you must also study about Western Ghats, about which you will find more information in environment section of your general studies. So guys, we are concluding the session. Before conclusion, here is a reminder for you. The much of the portion of the present video was covered from the Namak KPSC Karnataka Yearbook 2020. You can purchase the book. The link to purchase is given in the description box. So guys, let us meet again with another interesting video. Until then, stay home, stay safe and learn with Namak KPSC. In the description box, you shall find the links to download the materials of Namak KPSC Academy. So thank you.